family sent peace to your grandmother.
All right, I will do. I need to go on. This say live. Any one of y'all on the other end over there?
No, not
Oh,
yet.
I'm finna go. I'm finna go over here now. And I didn't do what I said I was gonna do. Hold on, I'm finna do that now. I'm just gonna have to go in an old presentation real quick. Uh, I don't need but this one slide to use, but this one slide. So give us a second, family. I don't know if anybody even in here yet. I ain't even clicking to make sure. Okay. So all right. Give us a second, family. And Vasa, you share the show too, man. I'm gonna share it too, but you share the show first. I want to say, uh, before I even do that, I'm gonna go ahead and play this. Give us 1 second, family. Man in the full knowledge of himself is superb and supreme creature of creation. When man becomes possessor of all the knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment, the captain of his own ship, the director of his own destiny, the accomplisher of his own ends. Man should understand himself because man is full of knowledge, and this knowledge is a gift of nature. When Mother Nature created man, she deprived him of nothing. He was given the faculty of understanding all things around him. His faculty for understanding has not been taken away from him. None of his senses have been taken away from him. So there is no excuse for the black man. Red in my teeth, red, black, and green. When the king, blue, now green, I should. Green, I should. I'm red in my teeth, red, black, and green. When the king, blue, now green, I should. Green, I should. Dang. I'm gonna let dang it. All right. I want to say ETM Hotep, Dual Aku, Dual Netcher, Ren E Kofi Paisai, Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Iwa Pele, Majuba Iba E, Majuba Iba E Egungun, Majuba Iba E Egungun, Majuba Iba E Alakba, Majuba Iba E Alakba, Egungun Kiki Egungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. Today, welcome back to Kofi Paisai TV and family. We have Brother Satep Rob Mary Amin, who will be presenting the presentation today. We have Brother Sutek on the panel. We have Brother Vasa, and maybe later on we have Brother Any Haret Sean Calfunny that may join the panel. I want to say Black African Power, family. Tip. Well, before we even get started, we got Sutek and Vasa. Before we get started, do y'all want to say anything for Satep start presenting the presentation? And Sutek, if you don't mind, kind of help us share the show as well. Y'all can open your mics if y'all got anything before we start.
No, I don't got nothing to say, man. I'm just happy to be here, and I'm gonna share the show for you.
All right, no doubt. Appreciate it.
Peace to the panel and peace to the listening audience and future audience. I'm trying to actually share it on the Mossy page and Facebook, but it's not letting me at the moment. So I'm gonna keep.
Okay. Okay.
If I can't get it, one of y'all might have to put it up on there.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Put it
start
in
sharing.
one group.
I'm gonna throw them and try to put them up too as I maneuver. But I'm gonna turn it over to Brother Satep and Rob Mary Amin. I'm gonna lock the screen on you, Satep, so you can
All
start
right.
sharing when you get ready.
Let me hit share. All right. Let me know when y'all can see it.
Yeah, we can see it. Let me go back on Facebook to make sure cause we can see it in the Facebook land. Okay. Dang, it done went right off of there. Hold on, Satep, before you go. And if y'all see it before I do, just let me know. My darn hold on, it done went right off of that Kofi Eyesight TV. All right. All right, yeah, we can see it on here, bro.
All right, so peace to the chat, peace to the brothers on the panel. I want to give a special shout out to my brother Kofi for lighting that fire under me. You know what I'm saying? Get me out my shell, do my presentation. I'm glad he put that fire under me because you know, I found out a couple things that I didn't know. I want to share with the family. So this ain't gonna be too much of a long presentation. It's just a biography on the brother right here. So let's get into it. The brother's name is Abram Petrovich Gannibel. Abram Gannibel. This is a bust of him in the Petrovich. These some Russian words, so I'm being Kofi mode right now. But yeah, this is a bust, and he lived circa 1691 to around May 14th, 1781. Let me spit my gum out. Okay, born in the Principality of Lagon, south of the Lake Chad in Cameroon. In this time, the land was settled by the Kotiko tribe, which Abram belonged to. Some scholars claim he is the son of a prince or some form of nobility. Within the Kotiko tribe, some form of nobility within the Kotiko tribe. In this time, 17th century, Islam had taken a lot of African tribes and converted them to Islam. Those who did not commit were either killed or forced into slavery. So in the 17th century, Islam really did its big push in Africa, you know, and they converted people to Islam. And if you didn't convert, you know, you was either forced into slavery or they just killed you. It was kind of how the Christians did when they went on the crusades or whatever. And that's why a lot of Africa is an Islamic state, because of the takeover through Islam in that time period. The father of oh, sorry, I wrote that wrong. His father, mute your mic, Kofi.
Oh my God, I just closed it.
Hey, can somebody mute Kofi's mic? All right. Oh, this is a typo right here. It should say his father still profess the traditional Amish religion of his tribe. So he basically was like, I'm not conforming to no Islam. I'm still gonna practice my religion in my tribe. While the neighboring principalities had already converted to Islam, this gave them the grounds to view Lagon as being a lower stage of development. And we know this to be true because just look at how the European did the Indian, or how they did the Aboriginals over there in Australia. You know, if you ain't converting or you ain't seeing things how they seeing, they look at you as a lower stage of human, you know. So then they try to come over and take over, basically, because you don't see things how they see it. And to abduct their children and sell them into slavery. Most often, the buyers prove to be the Ottoman port of Turkey. So this is the Ottoman slave trade right here, the Ottoman Turks. At the age of 1703, Gannibel was stolen and taken to the court of the Ottoman Sultan in Constantinople. Based on the year, the Sultan was either Mustafa II, which this the year he reigned, or Ahmed III, and this the year he reigned. So it was between the reign of one of these two Ottoman Turks. The German biography of Gannibel, compiled anonymously from his own words, explains that the children of the noble families were taken to their ruler of all Muslims, the Turkish Sultan, as hostages, to be killed or sold into slavery if their fathers misbehaved. Now, we know in ancient history where, you know, you had to give your son or you had to give your daughter up to the ruler. just to make sure you stayed in line. So if you did anything wrong, you know, they got your kid. They're gonna keep you in line.
I click that microphone and you see that microphone landed at the bottom where my face is.
In 1704, after 1 year in Constantinople, Gannibal was ransomed and brought to the Russian capital by the deputy of the Russian ambassador, Sava Vladislavich Ragnuski or whatever, on orders of his superiors, of whom was, I don't know what that word is. I can't even pronounce his name. Great-grandfather of the celebrated writer Leo Tolstoy, and sent as a gift to Peter I, subsequently Emperor and the Great. So basically, this is our Peter the Great. Hey, Sean, mute Kofi's mic for me. I think he left. If you can.
Hey, Satel.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, I'm finna mute the microphone, man. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you good.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold on, because she don't know what to do. Tell her what to do, Satel. She ain't showing me the whole
Hold on,
screen.
I can just mute it real quick. I can mute it for her. Let me just
all right.
Yeah, hold on, family. Bear with us. Let me do this real quick.
Man, I muted that loud mouth fool, man. I'm sorry.
All right, peace, Sean. All right. So let's see. The Tsar is noted to have taken a liking to the boy's intelligence and potential for military service, and brought the child into his household. Abram was baptized in 1705 in Saint Paraskova Church in Venezuela with Peter and his grandfather. The date of Gannibal's baptism held personal significance. He used that date as his birthday because he did not know his actual date. Now, this is because of slavery right here. You know, he didn't know his own birthday because they done took the boy captive. But it's kind of a good thing that the dude took him under his wing. You know, and we're gonna get into some of the triumphs that he had. All right, so let's fast forward about 10 years. In 1718, Gannibel joined the French army with hopes of pleasing his grandfather or his godfather by expanding his military engineering education. He fought with the forces of Louis XV of France against those of his uncle Philip V of Spain, and rose to the rank of captain. It was during his time in France that Gannibel adopted his surname in honor of the Carthaginian general Hannibal. Now, this was me and the brother Vasa was talking about earlier. When he was fighting for France against Spain, they did him so bad, and he was so vicious on the battlefield. You know, they nicknamed him, and he took on the name Hannibal. Now, the reason why his name is with a G and Hannibal's is with an H is because in Russia, I guess they use the H as a G. So the H they don't use the H over there. So they say Gannibal or however they pronounce it, but that's why it's a G instead of an H. But he took on that name and he embodied the great Carthaginian general Hannibal that we all know fought in Spain as well. All right. In November 2010 represents this just something I threw in. This is one of the fun facts. I just kind of threw this in. In November 2010, representatives from Russia and Estonia, the ambassador of Cameroon, and the Sultan of Lagon Bahraini, that's where he from, went to La Fère, and that's in France where he went to school at, to unveil a commemorative plaque honoring Abram Petrov Gannibal as a graduate of La Fère's Royal Artillery Academy. The academy, which closed in the 1990s, had been started by King Louis XV shortly before Gannibal's enrollment there in 1718. The plaque declares that he was a graduate of the Royal Artillery Academy of La Fère and later became chief military engineer and general-in-chief of the Imperial Russian Army. So he rose to the ranks over there in Russia. You know, he rose to the ranks in the military. Upon Gannibel's return, his protector Peter. So this is after he got out of the after he got out of the military academy. He went back home to see Peter the Great died in 1725, leaving the young black artillery lieutenant dependent upon the royal advisory Prince Menshikov, who, due to his dislike of Hannibal, assigned him to Siberia and later to the Chinese border, where his task was to measure the Great Wall. So basically, a new ruler came in. He didn't like Hannibal and sent him on a dummy mission to Siberia and to go measure the Great Wall of China. Now, what type of BS is that? Okay, so he was there for about 5 years. You know, he was in exile for about 5 years. And he was pardoned in 1730 because of his skills in military engineering. After Peter's daughter Elizabeth became the new monarch in 1740, he became a prominent member of her court. He rose to the rank of major general and became superintendent of the Revo. I don't know where that's, some place over there, now called Tallinn, Estonia. A position he held from 1742 to 1752. So he held this position for 10 years. And you can see where it says Peter's daughter, she became the new monarch. So this was somebody who he grew up with, you know what I'm saying? And she knew he was good. She knew he wasn't bad. And the guy before him, you know, sent him on a dummy mission and exiled him to Siberia, all the way up there in the cold to go measure a damn Great Wall. Because they scared of the Mongols. They're gonna come down and whoop up on them. But anyway, yeah, he rose to a good position. You know, she put him in position to win, and he held it for 10 years. He held the fort down for 10 years. So that's what's up. I like to see that when I read that. Okay, so now a letter signed on March 22nd, 1744 by Gannibel. No, only one in. Okay. Is held at Tallinn City Archives in 1742. The Empress Elizabeth gave him the, I'm not going to try to say that, the estate in Pskov province with hundreds of serfs. So she set him up nice, man. She set him up nice. I guess he could say this is sister or whatever. But yeah, she set him up nice, man. And she turned him into a top-notch general over there, got him out of exile, hooked him up with a nice estate, gave him all types of people to serve up under him. She set him up nice, man. And this is the actual letter right here that's still in existence today in the Tallinn, Estonia. So this letter does exist, and this is handwriting right here. So the brother is real. All right. During his military career, he oversaw various projects, including part of the expansion of 73-mile Lagdonga Canal near St. Petersburg, which linked the Neva and Svir rivers and Russia's fortress throughout the empire. So here go the brother right here using his engineering skills, you know, linking canals up, building Russia's infrastructure, if you will. You know, he's building the infrastructure for what you call Russia today. You know, a brother from Cameroon rising through the ranks, getting sent to Siberia, came back, high esteem, and still paving the way for Russia. Abram Petrov Hannibal died in the spring of 1781 as one of the leading military figures in his country and probably the first outstanding engineer in Russian history. So here we have it. You know, he the first outstanding engineer in Russian history, a brother. And they're not going to tell you this. You know what I'm saying? They're going to hide this over there in Russia. They're not going to tell you about it. That we over there paving their roads, you know, designing their infrastructure, and all that. Okay, so here's some biographies. We winding down now because, like I said, this ain't gonna be too long. You know, I'm just gonna hit y'all with some nice jewels, and then y'all go look the brother up. There's some of the biographies on him right here. Now, the first the first two. Well, no, actually, I think that first one is in German. These ain't none of these in English. These is all in overseas stuff. So here go the ISBN numbers, you know, and they all in Russian. So they knew about him, and they got the dates on there: 1899, 1996, 1984, 1964, you know, 2004. And then the bottom book is The More of Peter the Great by Alexander Pushkin. This was an unfinished publication, and Alexander Pushkin is actually his great grandson. And if y'all look up Alexander Pushkin, he is the father of Russian literature. The father of Russian literature, the great grandson of Abram Petrov Gannibel. So here again, we still paving the way for him. His great grandson, giving him literature, poetry, all that stuff. Look up his name, Alexander Pushkin. Here's my bibliography. These is where I got my sources from. So if y'all want to look at that for a little bit, and you know, I just wanted to keep it short and simple. And if any of the brothers on the panel got any questions for me, anybody in the chat, I know it was kind of quick, but if y'all got any questions about the brother or any questions about his great grandson, you know, writing a book on him, just, you know, shoot it in the chat.
I'm curious to know how did you yourself discover him?
That's a very good question, Vasa. So how I discovered the brother was let me go back to the first slide just so we can have this on there. So how I discovered this brother was I was reading a book by J.A. Rogers titled Great Men of Color. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all got it. But I was reading something in there about this actually comes to the point what you were saying, Vasa. They was talking about it's the chapter on Cletus. I think the guy's name is Cletus. He was a general in Alexander's army. And I looked him up because I was gonna do something on him, and then he led me to one of his grandsons called Alexander Thomas, and then Alexander Thomas led me to this brother right here because I just started looking up black generals, you know, black generals in European armies. So his name popped up, Abram Petrov Gannibel, and you know, I was like, wow, you know, he's not in this J.A. Rogers book. And I know J.A. Rogers got 2 volumes. I don't think he's in the any other volumes either, but I don't have the other volumes, so I can't speak on that. But yeah, I was looking up black generals in European armies, and then his name popped up. And then I looked at his lineage. You know, his lineage is it starts with him, then he has a son. His son was actually, his name is Ivan Petrov. And he rose to the ranks as a top general in Russia's army as well. And then after you get from his son, then his great grandson, who is Alexander Pushkin, is the father of Russian literature. So I'm like, he has a good lineage. I need to do something on him because I was going to do it on the other guy, the Alexander Thomas guy. But I'm like, I want to shed some light over here because, you know, we don't really know too much about Russia. You know, we just know it's a lot of white people over there and it's cold, you know, it's real cold. Don't want to really know nothing about Russia either. But we had a brother that was over there, you know, and his family and lineage is something that needed to be noted, you know, and there ain't a lot of information on this brother online. So yeah, I just wanted to shed some light on the brother. But yeah, I found it. The thing that sparked me was The Great Men of Color by J.A. Rogers. So that's how I found the brother, was just looking people up that I seen in his book.
Yeah, I personally, since we've been talking, had to flip through 8 different books and 2 encyclopedias. sources, not websites, but encyclopedias. Couldn't find anything on the brother. And then I got to thinking, hold on, man, let me pull out Van Sertima, his African presence in early Europe, and he's mentioned in there on page 265, and then it goes into Pushkin on 267, as far as being the sire of they call him the sire of it, sire of Russian literature and the apostle of the oppressed.
Yeah, see, you want to spell that as a TSAR?
No, not Zaire. Sire, SIRE.
Oh, okay. And we know that word. We just know that word to mean great, right? That word just means like great, or
but not the czar, not the king.
Right.
Not the king.
But yeah, I mean, his, like I said, his great grandson Alexander Pushkin, you know, and they got videos out, and they actually did a movie. I believe it's called the. Hold on one second. Let me get my book. Okay, so they did a movie called How Tsar Peter the Great Married Off His Moor, and they did this movie in 1976. So I was reading into the movie, and I seen like a little clip on it. It's real weird, you know. You ever seen one of the movies from overseas? They kind of weird, but they was in blackface. You know, they had the brother. They had the actor. He was in blackface, but they said in the movie like it wasn't exactly like a depiction of the true story, but it was just like a comedy. You know, it was kind of like a comedy of what happened. So maybe that's why it was weird. They was trying to be funny, but yeah.
Yeah, this this mentions briefly what you was talking about with being sent to China, and it says that's because he helped Peter not get married to Catherine. I'm assuming that's Catherine the Great. He set up a ploy for her not to get married, and the punishments of that was him being sent to Siberia and China. That's what it says in here.
Yeah, man. It's a deep story, man, and it's a lot of stuff I could have put in here. I kind of wanted to get a family a little piece of it, and then you know y'all could kind of how you doing right now. You feel me? Like I give you a little piece, then you start digging in your books you got, and you start finding out more information. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm glad you got some cooperating evidence with this presentation. That's nice, especially by Ivan Van Sertima.
Yeah, and this gives you a photograph of both of them, Alexander and Abraham.
Okay. Sean, you got anything? Brother Sutek?
Yeah, good presentation, man. Good information. This is something I don't think I ever heard anybody deal with in a community. So that's always a treat for me. Good presentation.
Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, so yeah, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I guess we waiting on Kofi Pie side to get back because he the only one that can end the show. So if y'all want to build on anything else, Vasa, didn't you have something earlier before we started the chat? The one brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull up his name. I think it started with a D.
Yeah, I think it's Dumas or something.
Yeah, Dumas. I was talking about maybe doing a show about him, and the Count of Monte Cristo and Three Musketeer connection. Maybe,
Yeah.
or at least sparking a conversation somewhere down the line.
Yeah, the brother's name is Alexander Dumas.
Yeah, you got it right on the head.
And another thing is about because see, I was getting ready to do something on Alexander Dumas. If y'all remember watching the movie Django, and y'all remember Leonardo DiCaprio and Jamie Foxx, and then the other white dude, when they was sitting in there, he was having a conversation with he was having a conversation with Leonardo DiCaprio about Alexander Dumas, and he said, because I guess Leonardo DiCaprio liked the Count of Monte Cristo. He liked Alexander Dumas. He thought Alexander Dumas was white. So the dude asked him a question and said, "What do you think Alexander Dumas to think of how you treat black people?" And he said, I think he'd approve of it," or something along them lines. And he was like, "Did you know Alexander Dumas was black?" And then he had that face on him like he didn't know that. So it's a lot of stuff, man, that we got going on, man, that people, they don't even know that there's black people behind it, man. They just don't even know.
Yeah, and that was one of my when was it? The 90s, 2000s. That's right around the time I actually really stopped watching movies. I've never been a fan of them, but that was one of my favorite movies to watch. The Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah, and what was the other one he did?
Oh, you should have to give me a minute.
He did something else too. The Three Musketeers. You said it earlier. Yeah, the brother did the Three Musketeers.
I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, we just chopping it up right now, Kofi. I wrapped it up though.
Golly.
That's what I said. I'm cutting straight to the chase.
Yeah, man. But yeah, y'all tell them following right after this show, we're gonna come back with the discussion of black family discussion.
Yeah, and you know that's another reason I'm glad it was kind of short, because the black family discussion is a lot more important than what we got going on right now. It's good to shed light, but we need to really be getting into what we're gonna talk about on this next show and what can help us moving forward. So yeah, I appreciate everybody for watching. I appreciate the brothers on the panel, and yeah, I'm ready to get on with this next conversation if everybody else ain't got nothing else on the table about this subject matter.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and look at it, man. Shoot. Cause I was trying to listen, but once I got at my grandma's house, I had to turn it off real quick, man. And talk to her for a few minutes and snatch that up and come on back to the house, man. But yeah, uh, please like the show, share the show, tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend about the show.
Now you can come back and do all this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, man.
Whatever.
So Tip, I don't know how you deal with
Okay.
this, dog.
Okay,
How you deal with this?
you said at
Uh,
240 something you
he
about
did
paying about
You
50
better
cents.
be quiet before I get Shavonna on you. You know Shavonna be beating
At
you up.
240,
Yeah.
right? The house being 240.
Yeah,
But you don't
okay.
understand, my house is
the man in the same bag.
300,000. That's
My
good.
But yeah, please like the show, share the show, tell a friend and tell a friend about the show. We finna end this show. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. We're gonna start a new show, the Black Family Discussion. Those that may want to come in to get involved in the discussion and build with us in the discussion, we're gonna put the link in the chat. And once we come back, family, help us share the show too. You know, this show here was, like I said, I had to go back and look at it, but I know it was a good show. So tell somebody to come back in the archives and check out our brother Satep and Ra Mary Harmon presentation. I'm definitely gonna have to go back and look at it because we built on it yesterday, and I was looking forward, but at the last minute I got a phone call and I had to go over to my grandmother's real quick. But I'm gonna go back. So check this out in the archives. Um, Also come back, help us share this show. This is another powerful show, a well-needed discussion, which will be headed by our brother Vasa Nicolo Gullah. So give us about 10 minutes, man, and we'll be back, man. And Black African Power, family. Peace. See y'all in a few.